Cocoa Magic by Sandra Bradley, illustrated by Gabrielle Grimard. Daniel was only 4 years old when he made his first batch of chocolates from start to finish. His great-uncle Louis, the Cocoa King of Charlottetown, didn't help him one bit, except to steady his hands as he poured the warm, silky chocolate into the mold.
Just think,
said Uncle Louis, holding out a single cocoa bean.
A humble seed. Add vanilla, sugar, milk and voila. It's magic, my boy.
By the time Daniel was 8, he savored one precious hour every morning in the chocolate shop with his uncle. Together, they crafted wonderful treasures, melting and pouring, scraping and molding, and Daniel finished each gem like a pro. And then the old man and the young boy would walk the 3 blocks to school together. The red brick building always seemed cold and lonely, especially on a winter's morning. On one such morning, a new girl came to class. The teacher introduced her as Sarah Miller, and when Daniel smiled at her, she didn't smile back. Thought Daniel. If school felt cold and lonely to him, it must feel downright terrible to Sarah. The next morning, Daniel told Uncle Louis about Sarah. Together they came up with a plan. Before leaving the shop, Daniel selected the best chocolate caramel of the batch and Uncle Louis popped it into a small golden box. The moment Daniel got to school, he carefully placed the treasure into Sarah's desk. Nobody saw him do it. Soon enough, Sarah sat down. Out of the corner of his eye, Daniel saw her reach into her desk for her notebook. Finding the box, she peered inside. And then, Sarah did something that Daniel had not seen her do even once the day before. She smiled. It was magic. For the next 3 days, Daniel kept the magic going. Vanilla fudge one day, coconut cream the next, and then a piece of nougat. And every day, Sarah seemed a little less scared and a little more cheerful. By Friday, Daniel realized he wasn't the only one watching Sarah eat her chocolates. Ben was watching too. And on Monday morning, Daniel brought 2 small golden boxes to school, one for Sarah and one for Ben. And he noticed that Ben was a little bit kinder to everyone that day. But still, that wasn't enough. Everywhere Daniel looked, someone else needed chocolate. A truffle turned Todd into a teddy bear. A salted caramel made Suki smile. And a pecan praline changed Pablo into a prince. Magic. And nobody, even for a moment, suspected it was Daniel. On the last day of the month, Daniel and Uncle Louis arrived at school before anyone else, carrying 24 boxes, one for every child in Daniel's class plus the teacher. That was a very good day. But the next day was a bad one.
Daniel,
said Uncle Louis.
I have something to tell you. Next week I'm off to the World Chocolatier Conference in Geneva, Switzerland. I've been asked to speak about the cocoa beans. It's the chance of a lifetime, my boy.
But,
stammered Daniel.
But what about chocolate shop?
I'll be closing it for 5 days. But don't worry, my boy, I promise I'll be back.
And then, to seal the deal, Uncle Louis hugged Daniel tight. 5 days. Daniel couldn't remember the shop closing for even one day, let alone 5. On Monday morning, Daniel trudged to school alone. He stopped for a long time outside the shop, peering into the darkness. What would happen to the cocoa magic without Uncle Louis? The cheer would be gone. The smiles on his classmates' faces would disappear. Sure enough, the red brick school building was cold and lonely once more. This time it was Daniel who felt terrible. The second morning was even lonelier. Nobody looked Daniel in the eye. Nobody came anywhere near him. And then,
surprise!
It was magic.
But how did you know?
Daniel asked Sarah.
Daniel,
said Sarah.
you are a wonderful chocolatier. But you are a terrible actor.
From that day forward, the gift-giving was unstoppable. Every student, from kindergarten to 8th grade, got in on the act. Uncle Lewis was tickled pink. And somehow, magically, the red brick building never seemed cold or lonely again.